Huzzah! Yes, we are recording live. No, not live. We're recording. My name is Zachariah Julian. I'm from the Hickory Apache Nation, and this is for We Are the Seeds. This is going to be a new thing we're doing. We're interviewing a bunch of great, amazing artists, influential people. I'm mostly going to be interviewing musicians, Native American musicians. You're going to be seeing a lot of different interviewers, interviewees. It's going to be great. You're going to enjoy this. I have an amazing guest today. Can't see my hand. There you go. I have an amazing guest today. There she is. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Ja, she Renata Yazzie and she twa ha glini nishle ki ani bashchin but ani she che honra da chanel what at the University of New Mexico the instra ado piano performance do at the musicology by instra do bohosh ego the nest an nishle. Hello everyone, my name is Renata Yazzie. I am Navajo and I am Where the Water Flows Together clan, born for the Towering House clan. My maternal grandfather is the Folded Arms clan, and my paternal grandfather is the He Who Walks Around One clan. I'm a grad student at the University of New Mexico, where I am studying music with dual concentrations in piano performance and musicology with an emphasis in ethnomusicology.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. That's quite an introduction. I love that. You and I have been friends for about 3 years, I want to say, 2.5, 3 years. I first met you, well, I didn't meet you, but the first time I ever saw you, I cannot remember. It was Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve. And
I think it was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve, okay.
Yeah.
And I was down in Isleta. There's a casino down in New Mexico for people who aren't from here. In Albuquerque, there's a reservation, the Isleta Pueblo, and they have a nice casino there. And I needed some fresh air, and I was walking around there because I was surrounded by family, and I saw you performing, and I was like, wow, it's amazing. Are you still doing
that? Yes and no. The last time I played there was, I think, at the end of January, or no, the end of February. And then they closed the hotel. Yeah, but it was really funny because I didn't meet you there.
No.
I actually met your parents there.
That's very true.
Yeah, because they came up to me and they were like, we have a son who plays piano, and he studied piano. And then they were like, go visit him. He works at Barnes and Noble. And I was like, okay. And then I just I went there one day to the bookstore, and I just so happened to oh yeah, that one guy, that one dude.
That was great to meet you.
Yeah.
It's been interesting being I play piano too. I went to UNM as well. We both went to UNM.
Yep.
We studied under two different kind of mindsets. You studied under Falco, and I studied under Pamela. Two very extraordinary pianists. But being a pianist for so long, I never met any other Native American pianists. And then I met you, and it made me feel amazing. It really did, because everybody loves guitar. There's nothing wrong with guitar. Play a guitar. It's amazing. But piano, there's this, I don't know, there's a kinship there. I really enjoy.
Yep.
So when did you start playing? Like how old?
You kind of.
Oh, did I lose you? All right, there we go. Anyway, sorry, we had a little technical glitch there. But I was talking about pianists, Native American pianists. A lot of guitarists out there, and pianists who tend to be rare. So it was really nice to meet you finally, and see that I wasn't alone, even though I knew I wasn't alone. So
yeah.
How old were you when you started?
So I started playing piano very young. Basically, my dad says as soon as I could walk, really. I'd go to the piano in the morning. My mom's cooking breakfast kind of thing, and I just kind of doodle around on the keys. I learned to play my first song by ear when I was 2 or so. It was Joy to the World. And then my mom plays piano, and that's why we had a piano in the house to begin with. But she began teaching me some sort of basic stuff, like my notes, real simple songs and things like that. And then I started taking piano lessons with someone who wasn't my mom when I was 4.5.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I did that until I was 10. And then we moved to the reservation when I was 10. And that's kind of when I stopped taking lessons until actually I went to college.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, there's like I think an 11-year gap in the time that like a gap in which I didn't take piano lessons. But I mean, I still kept learning new pieces. I still kept working on stuff. And my mom, of course, she was there, so she would help me and like encourage me to practice and help me remain disciplined in my practice, even though I didn't have a piano teacher for all of that time. But yeah.
So how many teachers have you had altogether so far?
Including my mom, 3. So my mom, my teacher when I was small, and then Professor Steinbach now.
Yes. What would you say you've learned from these 3 different teachers? So I have 3 different teachers as well, and I've learned something unique from each of them.
My mom taught me a lot about musicality. And she used to make up stories for my songs. We used to make up stories together about like, I don't know, just going on a road trip, or just to help me play a piece with more feeling. She would create experiences to help me translate that music into something that I understood a little bit better than just, allegro or vivace or, other musical terms that are in Italian or German. So that was, and of course, just, I think the discipline. I also got that from my mother. She was like, you have to practice every day.
Yes.
Set your timer, get going. And it's got to be like good practice. Can't just be dilly-dallying around. It's got to be focused. Let's really work on this. This piece today. We'll focus on this, and from my second teacher was basically everything about music. Was my real introduction to classical music, composers, repertoire. And technique. That's where she really instilled within me a good technique, a technical foundation. Yeah, that was Mrs. Hill. Her name was Mrs. Hill. And so she encouraged me to compete. And I actually competed in a little competition when I was 8.
How did you do?
Yeah. I won first place in the solo and concerto divisions. I actually had thank you. I actually had an opportunity to play with the Northern Arizona University Symphony Orchestra, but it didn't work. Like the rehearsal schedule didn't work out.
That's amazing.
Congrats. But they offered. So yeah, and then with Falco, Professor Steinbach,
I'm the same way. I'm like Pamela. Pamela Final. Sorry.
Yeah. It sort of, I guess, relearning all of those things.
It's true. Yes.
Is like I had to relearn how to focus. I had to relearn how to practice. I had to relearn technique. I learned a lot about just piano history, and this Falco taught me a lot about just the instrument itself, because a lot of people, they focus on, they start out by focusing on how to play, but like we really worked on just what are all the different sounds you can make with the piano, how do you make those sounds without hurting yourself?
Yes, exactly. These are very fragile, by the way.
Yeah, it is like not just your fingers, but your fists, your elbows, like all kinds of,
shoulders.
yeah. And really just, he taught me a lot about just the massive capabilities of what a piano can do,
Mm-hmm.
and how to incorporate that into what you play. And then, of course, I think the biggest thing that I continue to struggle with, and we continue to work on together, is just having confidence in performance.
It's very true.
Yeah, it's just being prepared for a performance, how to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, for a performance or a recital or a jury, and feel well prepared, and then go out and do it. Yeah, so that's something that we've been working a lot on recently.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of like the language of the instrument, the piano, one of my favorite musicians released a new album today, Fiona Apple, and she expands the language of piano. I haven't listened to the whole album yet. It's an amazing album.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to female singer-songwriters, musicians, performers, I've always been fascinated and envious of how the female performer, musician, and singer-songwriters are able to focus in on details and use words far more better than the male musicians and artists. The only other male musicians I can think of are like Tom York from Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, but they become more abstract. But the female musicians, I think of Clara Schumann, listening to her music as Robert's mental deterioration. There's so much anxiety there. And she does an amazing job with that emotion that male musicians have a hard time doing. I'm speaking for myself. I have a hard time. I become more abstract. And with younger female musicians, especially younger Native American female musicians, it's kind of a small group. It's a male dominant area.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you would have for female musicians who are rising up?
Practice.
By the way, musicians, future musicians, you want to know the secret? Practice.
Yeah, it's really just a lot of, and not like focused practice. Like it has to be efficient practice, or else you don't want to say you're wasting time, but it's ideal if your practice is focused and sort of honed in on what you're wanting to do. I think it's really important to support and encourage each other.
It's true.
One of my favorite singer-songwriters is Sage Bond.
Yes.
I think she has an amazing voice, and her performances are powerful. And she's someone that I really look up to for just sort of in terms of musicality and just that her stage presence. I think it's really something. And yeah, I think it's really important to support each other, and that support, it can look different, but if you don't have the money to buy an album, it's just like, let other people know about their music. And stream their music, buy their music, all of these kinds of things, so that people they can expand their audience, really. And I think it's also important to kind of in some ways to stick together and make sure that we look out for each other and keep each other safe, and because it is very much a male dominated industry.
It really is.
And
I agree.
yeah, I really think the biggest thing is, reach out to each other and check in with each other and
Collaborate.
and collaborate. Yeah. That's a big one.
Mhm. Yes, don't be. There's a lot of ego. I know this because I've been doing this for quite a while now. There's a lot of ego, and the ones that tend to make it and are more successful and are more accessible are the ones that want to collaborate, the ones that want to reach down and help others. Um, and at least that's been in my experience. Sage Bomb is very unique in the sense that she writes music on her terms, and that feeds
Yeah.
into her rebellious spirit, and that's what makes her successful. And that's the way, that mentality of a musician is very important. Never compare yourself to other people. It's your music, it's your outlet. And I love that. Yeah. Sage Bomb.
Yeah. I really like that about her, that she sticks with what she wants to do.
Yeah. And she's pretty laid back too.
Yeah. So, and I'm always willing to listen and to be a listening ear for other female musicians who just want to talk and hang out. So,
well, to wrap up the interview here, do you have any future plans with your music?
So, I'm hoping to graduate next year, and I am getting all of my graduate recital repertoire kind of wrapped up in that. I finally decided exactly what I'm going to play for my recital. And it's funny because every semester, professor and I have had this so your graduate recital, what are you going to play? And we've the past 3 semesters, it's changed. Nice. And I'm I got it. And then this time it came up again because the end of the semester is coming. So it's what are you going to be practicing for the summer is what he's got in mind. And I'm okay, I got my graduate recital program. I know I've said this 3 times, but this is the one. I'm telling you.
It's a lot of pressure, man.
And so I'm kind of getting that ready. It's a little, I guess, more basic than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. They're great pieces.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying them, and I'm enjoying learning them. So that's something. I'm also working on my thesis proposal because I have a dual concentration. So I'm doing a thesis and a recital. But outside of that, the scholastic stuff, well, I guess this is also scholastic too, but it's outside of directly related to my degree, is I'm working on a book chapter for an edited volume on Indigenous sound studies.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be sort of about Indigenous collaborations with non-Indigenous people.
Ooh, wow, that's fascinating.
So sort of, I'm drawing on my experience with the Serbian violinists that I worked with, and sort of how that, looking at that collaboration as a case study for future ideas of collaborating with other classical artists. So that's something that I'm kind of working on. I would like to put out some music. I think the thing with classical music is you don't record an album of classical music until it's all safe and really it's every note is there, the music inside and out. You just don't sit down and be I feel like recording this today, and you just can't do that.
No,
it doesn't work the same way as other genres, and I think there's a lot of pressure on people who record classical music.
Yes. Yeah.
So people are always you ought to record something, and I'm yes, and they're you just got to do it, and I'm yes. There's also a really high level of playing that's required to I guess to put something out there of classical music and be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that said, I would love to record something. I don't know what it would be, but I think it would be towards really something that I could, I guess, feel confident in, because that's something I'm still working on.
Yes.
Something like children's songs, or something of that sort. So that's kind of something that I've been turning around. Like when I do, not if, because I do want to, but when I record something, what is that going to look like? What is that going to be? And I've had, some other Native artists reach out to me from a lot of different genres to collaborate with them.
Good.
And I won't say who they are yet, but
never show all your cards.
Yeah, but that's something, I guess, to look out for as I kind of work with some other musicians.
That's awesome. Well, you're very inspiring. So
yeah,
please
thank you.
give us some information if people want to get to know more about you, social or anything like that.
Okay, sure. So I have a Facebook fan page, and I have a YouTube channel that has I think 2 videos on it. I have to put more stuff on there. But one is actually, I'm really proud of it. It's a Bach keyboard concerto, the 3rd movement, which is the fastest movement. And I was super proud of that recording. So I was like, this is going up. And then I think, and the other one is a vlog from the time I performed in Germany.
Oh yes.
So yeah, so there's I have a couple things. And I think I have some Chopin waltzes or something else on there. It's been a while since I looked. But and then I have Instagram.
Okay.
So
what's the
it's it's at NATA_YAZHI.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here with We Are the Seeds. It's been great.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Yeah.
You take care.
Okay.